Definitely happen in Shenzhen, and I don't think you can find it anywhere else in the world. It's pretty easy to answer. Definitely storytelling.
Hello everyone, good to see you. Today I'm sitting with Gao Ning, who runs an incredible organization in China called Linkloud, which brings together large numbers of companies in the AI space that are interested in going abroad. And I'm so going to let Gao Ning introduce himself and share a little bit about some of the challenges and opportunities that are being faced with Chinese companies and why they're looking at international markets and how we might be able to better collaborate or work with them and leverage their efficiencies and leverage their strengths in future collaboration.
So everyone, and thank you, Gavin, for inviting me. So I had my master at Duke in the US, and then I had 2 years working in the US before returning to China. And then in 2023, I left Hugh House and then founded Linkloud, this community with 2 other co-founders with me. And so because we see the chance of more and more startups and even more tech companies are expanding their international business or overseas. More mature markets have definitely US, Japan, and more developed countries are more mature markets for AI and those DTAPs. So more startups and especially young founders, they build out the products day one as international products, and that's the reason we started this community. That's the reason we have one part of the business to bring a lot of very fantastic founders who have commitment and bravery to come to US or come to the other local markets and try to find out opportunities.
And at a very high level, tell me very briefly about the different activities that you guys organize at Linkloud, just so that the American audience has a high level understanding of what you actually do.
Cool. So we started our community based on regular meetups. So we monthly meetup is almost 100 or 200 founders who will attend, and we are talking to a lot of founders. We feel like there's a need to actually bring a lot of founders to the local markets. That's their first step to understand the local markets, because our slogan is think global, act local. So that was the 5-day program that we bring a group of founders and to the local markets, to Japan or the Silicon Valley, and invite local, different partners and founders, and also people who have already relocated or expanding their local offices, people in charge of the overseas team, and also local investors and partnership agencies that we find that will be really helpful and valuable to the founders to give an overview of how the local market looks like. And second thing they mostly concerned about is growth and marketing. So we invite some experts or advisors on either, as you know, the growth and marketing, SEO, influencer marketing, product design. The third is we provide some unique consulting services to those companies who are more serious in entering the local markets. So you have to bring up more bridges to try to help specific companies to land their projects or land the first POC in Japan. And that's the reason we want to engage more with Gavin, summarize, to have more things that we can discover to help those founders to land their first impressions and first events in the US. Yeah.
Fantastic. Let's take a few steps back. Why is this happening now? So last there, I felt so much energy, and at your conference, could feel thousands of people all talking about going global. It almost like these people have grown up, and now they're talking about professionally going abroad. So what elements in the Chinese market are causing this, and what, in terms of the founders themselves, is giving them so much energy to consider the international side of things?
Yeah, I think there are several layers of reasons that we have been observing, especially throughout the recent 3 years. So at the beginning, I think the motivation came from those entrepreneurs who have already have some mature market or business back in China. And then definitely once they feel like the market has been almost saturated and they have achieved some milestones in China, their motivation comes from why should not I selling products to the overseas customers? And then we discovered that okay, the milestones have already been achieved by some founders already are mostly in Japan and the US. Definitely, because they come from mostly more mature markets for software, for IT services, and willingness to pay, etc. So we realized that actually combined the forces of the advent of ChatGPT or the AI. It's because the newest technology or the newest models and findings came from the US or the Silicon Valley. Most young founders, we call it AI native company, AI native founders. So mindset is actually day one building a global products already. So should I not bring the AI native product that's serving also the similar groups of users? Definitely that come from all around the world, and but actually understanding your users becoming really more and more important. So that in order to close the gap between understanding the local markets, that actually makes more founders to actually really travel to the local markets and may force them to talk to the user more frequently. So to immerse themselves into the local communities.
Let's talk a little bit about the situation in China, both economically and in terms of technological development, because on one hand, we sometimes hear that China has incredible electric cars, or best drone industry in the world, or some incredible developments in terms of AI. On the other hand, people will say, oh no, actually Silicon Valley is far, far ahead, etc. And I always tell people that I always find some truth in both. So what would you say, can you tell me a little bit about what you see as the reality in terms of the technical culture, economic culture in China?
I think the great is that the VCs are back, and then after the open source of DC, more global products have been really having good reputations to win the global users, so they gain more confidence. I think that I see a growing number of, like you said, local communities around AI, around open cloud, around agents, robotics happening in China in the recent years, in the recent 2 years. And here people are more keen to collaborate and then to share more. So the mindset has been a little bit shifting, especially in the recent years. So I think something that is, I think, still lacking is that because the things happen so fast, and I think people still are mindset of or what is happening, no matter the technology or the real business, what the opportunities are actually a bit off. In terms of readiness, or for the people who have not been traveled to the US and talk to the local founders. So I think still people are trying to build the things or build the products, at least at the very beginning, are from their design without talking to a lot of real
from their
users.
imagination,
Exactly.
What they think the US needs.
Exactly, what they think the local markets needs, but not necessarily talking enough to the users. So I think, and just like Gavin just mentioned, actually you have to get your customers even before you have a product. But that build up connections, understand your customers before you have a product. That is another mindset that I think that it's still very important for the US, or to win the local markets, but still lacking from the founders that I've seen.
Yeah, China has some real advantages that are very tangible. So. They are surviving fierce competition, which gives them a certain amount of grit or muscle or intensity that I don't always necessarily see in the United States. I think if you look at the strengths or advantages of some of these Chinese companies going global, what would you say kind of first comes to mind? So if I'm an investor or a partner and I'm looking and engaging with this Chinese company, what are they bringing to the table?
If the first thing comes to mind, still, I think it's something also related to the hardworking, but I think right now it's more responsiveness. Is that most of the those good founders I've seen throughout the year have already built some great products in the US or for the globe. I think they're more responsive and resilient. So they try to pivot and then build a second product, find their more global, like try to find their PMF product market fit again. And then I think those resilience and the quick response to the market, and then the spirit of not fearing of pivoting is something that I think I find pretty rare from those good founders. And in the US, I think you have to be more, understandable in the local markets, the local culture, and then you have to really pivoting a lot or quickly. Major, I think, advantage I found is these three characters. Yeah.
Now, definitely consistent. I mean, when I meet Chinese teams and I see how quickly they can develop content or come up with a new idea and immediate deploy it at a very high level with very high quality, it's honestly truly astounding.
Storytelling in the US, I think, is a bit different, or actually a bit different from what I think storytelling to the Chinese founders, because I think it has some reasons of fear of public speaking, language, and talking to people in a unfamiliar environment, and makes the storytelling, the whole thing, become even tougher for other countries' founders who want to enter the US market or want to serve for the global users. I think how to leap over the mental obstacle that for most founders is the most thing that most of the founders struggling with. And once you talk to your foreign users, then you can definitely know what's their real pain points is, right? And then how they actually try to phrase their pain points and how they give feedbacks of your products. I think that plays a really important foundation of your storytelling skills or storytelling sense, because whole skill of storytelling and then the works you have to do in order to give a good story is the thing. I think definitely the most thing that the founders have been struggling with.
Take a look at the industry as a whole, and now there's almost a new rise of product categories that I'm seeing in China that I don't see as much in the United States. AI mirrors, AI toys, AI, a lot of AI sort of daily products and daily life. I mean, what do you think is kind of causing, and I see hundreds of them, honestly.
So I think this is basically, I also see the similar trend regarding different types of playable consumer products, especially with AI capabilities. So with the capability of AI, we all usually say that all the hardware or most of the consumer hardware has to be redo again with AI. So they actually pay for a lot of like basic vision or like motivation for the founders to to leave their original company to start new startups. And the second thing, I think basically China is also a big market of the consumer market as well. So third is definitely the hardware, the supply chain. So a super unfair advantage for startup to bring from idea to prototype within a week, within 3 weeks. It can definitely happen in Shenzhen, and I don't think you can find it anywhere else in the world. So that's something that I found it the trend, or why the trend is growing rapidly. Building AI hardware or consumer products have been growing pretty quick in China but in terms of the software side, I think to understand the local markets, I still find it's very in early stage. I do think over half of them haven't got their PMF. You can have a quite success, a co-start on Kickstarter on CS, but that doesn't mean anything, right? Even in terms of software, in terms of whether you have achieved your PMF, I think still big questions on most of the startups. Yeah.
When I look at AI glasses, I'm sure some version of AI glass or AI contacts or AI headphones. Just how many there are, and to know who's going to be the survivor out of so many companies, whoever comes out of it is going to be incredible.
Right.
Just like all the other major industries in China. So definitely something to look forward to. My last question is something that's kind of funny, but very important, which is like, how does someone go about learning about the Chinese market these days? So Americans or global audience that want to go and understand more about China, at least its tech ecosystem and how to work and engage and partner with these companies, or maybe identify the next future growth companies, what should they do?
Yeah. I think there are several channels or the ways they can try this. Also the same is that the advice you gave to some Chinese founders who want to enter the U.S. markets as well is to go to the local community. Definitely a very efficient way to get to know the not only the founders but also the builders or the people who are interested in these areas are the best way to understand what is happening right now you know, in a more you know, broad way, because China, one thing that's quite different from between China and US, that, you know, we have like distributed different cities, they're having different you know, tech groups or communities. Not third, I think, is to attend some, especially starting from last year, I would recommend people attend more hackathons in China, because last year I could call it the beginning of hackathon year in China, because they actually can see a more broader view of who are building it, who are using it, what kind of problems they are solving. And then also there are some application hackathon, also some hardware hackathon. So I would recommend you to attend, and I think these are some, you know, some recommendations that I would like to make if you want to know more about what is happening right now. Yeah.
Anyway, fantastic speaking with you. And I'm sure this won't be the last time, and looking forward to seeing
more,
communities engage more. But yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.